positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know, we do it over here. I just want to share with you guys that you want to be careful who you call your people. And a lot of times people want to group us into categories based on a skin color or an ethnicity rather than views and beliefs. And I believe that's one of the biggest travesties in society because it limits people from trying to build friendships or interact with others that don't necessarily look like them. And it also lends itself to discrimination of people based on what the outward appearance is rather than what their internal beliefs or views are. I made a mistake of assuming certain people maybe thought the same way I did, when in all actuality, they had a totally different outlook on life and their reality. And seeing that made me realize that when you go out in public and you see somebody, um, you might assume because this person behaves a certain way in public that there may be an alignment with certain things that you believe in, certain value systems. But in all actuality, that person kind of blows in the wind because they want to fit in, but behind closed doors, that they might be a closet racist or a closet bigot. And those are dangerous people. And so whenever you do anything serious with somebody, as far as a business arrangement, um, any type of economic situation, you want to get to really know that person so you don't go into a partnership with somebody that's potentially detrimental to your success or the overall success of whatever business venture you're going into. And being associated with this person could also be detrimental because now people see you with this individual. They could assume certain things, and a lot of things are based on assumptions. um, I see people that you know have friends that don't necessarily look like them and smile in their face, and they pretend to be cool with these individuals, but then they get around people that look like them and they talk all kind of shit about those same people. I don't know. I never really understood that either. To me, if you're going to act one way, act that way all the time. Don't pretend because you want to maybe be favorable with that person in public, but behind closed doors, you think they're a piece of shit. And then the argument could be that, well, they do it to me. Well, then everything you guys base your relationship on is on a shitty foundation. And a shitty foundation is never going to last. It's always going to crumble. I learned that you have to distinguish yourself so people don't throw you into a, what do you call it, a group situation or those people type situation. And one of the hardest things was in prison, because if you're from a certain city, you're from a certain neighborhood, you're from a certain block, you automatically are tied to a certain demographic of people in prison. And a lot of politics revolve around that. And I've seen guys who have individuals in the circle, they can't stand them, but they from their hood, so they got to play the game. That's the homie. But behind closed doors, they're plotting to get this guy off the yard, or they can't stand him. They want something to happen to him. There's all type of undermining plays being worked out behind the scenes, and it's just nasty, man. And so when I see people doing it on the street, on Facebook or Instagram, it's kind of funny because it's like the game is so lame on the street when people are trying to play a certain angle. It's like you see it coming a mile away. And so I don't know. You just got to be careful, man, when you talk about my people and, be in the face of some movement and you don't really know the roots of that movement, or talking about a group of individuals, but you've never really interacted with that group of individuals. Like, realistically, how many of those people have you actually sat down and had a conversation with? I was amazed when I was in prison about like some of the guys. They've never really had a white friend. They've never spent the night at a white person's house, or a Filipino, or a Vietnamese, or they never dated a Mexican girl, or they never dated uh, a white girl, or they never dated an Italian girl. You know, we live in America, but inside prison, because everybody's kind of consolidated, you realize that there is a lot of divide and lack of cultural understanding among the different, quote unquote, what they call races. And that leads to a lot of animosity and hatred and dislike. But when you really start talking to these people, it's just a lack of it's a lack of communication, because you never really sat down with one of those people. You never sat down with somebody who's from India, or somebody who's a Native American, or somebody who's from Africa, or somebody who's from France, or somebody who's from Sinaloa, or Mexicali. It's just like, it's crazy. And when you realize that you have the same viewpoints, then it builds that commonality, and that's what makes America so great. America is the commonality. It's not about all this divide, but the divide keeps us from working together. It also keeps us angry at each other. It also keeps us divided. It keeps us um, focused on a victim mentality, and they've amplified the victim mentality among the black culture. And blacks, like I said, I'm not gonna speak for everybody, because I'm not a part of like a lot of the bullshit. I don't agree with it. And somebody else left a comment on one of my other videos about, like, I've separated myself from a lot of the bullshit a long time ago, and I agree with you, because you can't go to bat for somebody that doesn't hold the same value, somebody who doesn't really believe in education, or believe in God, or have family values, or somebody that doesn't really care about thy neighbor or the good of society. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying, when you start jumping out there, and then you find out that the person they said was just somebody who was innocently shot. You found out this person had got away with multiple robberies. Maybe he had shot up somebody. you know, whatever the case may be. And in order to have that victimhood, they got to paint a picture like this person was just randomly targeted. And I tell you, man, I've been in quite a few situations, and when you sit down and you start talking to people, and yeah, a lot of times you're mad because you got caught, but you hear the background of some of these dudes, and you're like, man, that was an effed up situation with the police. But you look at like this dude, he robbed these dudes over here, tied this person up, he jacked the plug over here, he sold this, did that, shot at this person. It's like all these different things. You're like, man, is that karma that just caught up with him? And maybe the police was the conduit, or is this person, not seeing all the other things they did? And I look at like a lot of the things I did and uh, got away with, and then you look at other people, and it's like, where's the accountability or the ownership to it? And I'm not saying I'm innocent or trying to say that the person deserved that, but when you do stuff, do you not think there's a consequence to it? And that's why I say, when you say my people, you don't know who you're, when you say that, who you're claiming to be your people. But going back to just like the communication thing and getting to know other people, other cultures, uh, there's a lot of ignorance dividing us right now in this country. A lot of preconceived notions and beliefs that are, a lot of it's based on hearsay rather than um, actual fact. And it kind of amazes me when I hear certain people talk about victimhood, and it's like, you've never even experienced anything. You're projecting yourself into a scenario, and you've never had to deal with that because of who you are. But yet you want to be relatable to the streets or the hood, so you have to, like, yeah, I don't know, it blows me away. Like, there's no mistaking when I go somewhere that I'm black, skin color wise, by terminology. But I got people I have ran across that are very light skinned, that, yeah, you could tell they're black from a black person's perspective, but they can get away with posing in the picture and not being the odd color in that picture, or they can go somewhere and not really stick out. They can kind of blend in into a more European environment. And it's funny because a lot of those people scream the loudest when it comes to trying to act like they're so pro black, and I don't get that either. What are you so pro black about, man? Back in the days when a person was like that, they would use that to their advantage and basically play the system. Why aren't you playing the system? If I was as light as these people were running around, and in certain environments, people thought that they didn't know what race I was. If they maybe thought I was Puerto Rican or Armenian, whatever, man, I'd play the shit out of that. I wouldn't sit here and be, oh man, they acting like, man, look, they don't even know who or what you are. Play that shit. Some people are just stupid, man. They don't, and it's like, dude, you're for one, you're well educated. You got a great job. Oh, you talk about you got to work twice as hard. You don't work twice as hard for what? It doesn't make sense. It's such a crybaby ass mentality. But I don't know. Like I said, I sit back sometime. I have these thoughts. Got to come out here and share them with you guys. Be careful who you call who your people are. Don't be scared to talk to people that don't necessarily look like you. Make friends with people outside your cultural cultural norm. Um, just be you, man. Don't let society define you. Don't let your skin color define you. Don't let your ethnicity or wherever you're from define you. Blaze your own path, man. Don't be afraid to make a name for yourself and be called out. Be proud if you're called out, because at least you're not a part of the masses. You're not just running with the herd. The herd is getting slaughtered, man. The herd is, they're getting caught up in the bullshit. So watch your circle, watch your friends, watch the people that you do business with, the people that you connect in your circle, and just be smart, man. BigHerc916. Contact me for life coaching.
16 store and pick you up a sticker for your car, or a patch, or a sticker for your laptop, or maybe a beanie, or read one of the many books that BigHerc916 has authored. I gotta hurry up and wash my ass. Go to BigHerc916.com, pick you up a bar of soap, and wash your ass, or else you're gonna be under arrest too. Oh shit.